Hey everybody, it is Justin, your guide into Legends of the Mara, and we literally just got a massive update today on this fine Saturday afternoon from EverydayZukini, because he literally just dropped a tabletop lore book preview that outlines a 192-page book, fleshing out, again, it's a preview, it's not 192 pages, the origin of the Legends of the Mara universe storyline, factions and catalysts, and more. Catalyst or character classes and enemies, factions, etc., etc. So we'll take a look at this lore book concept PDF in just a second. We'll try to break it down into a nice TLDR, but there's a shitload of information, so we'll take a look at it. So let's see what Zukini and Paley said. So here's the plan. We would love to hear reactions to this. So the tabletop game and lore book for Legends of the Mara is what is going on. The idea is we will work with an established tabletop / lore bookmaker that has done several other Kickstarters and board games. The goal is for the first part of the lore and rulebook. Okay, so basically the goal is to have, like the lore and storyline being built out with a rule book and character sheets. This will have a ton of sick art and be super comprehensive / world building. So it's literally 192 pages of lore. I think that's going to be pretty fucking epic. So see attached for the high level summary. We will consider, okay, there's a PDF of which we'll break down, but they will also consider minting the PDF to holders. That would be pretty epic. Not gonna lie, that would be pretty epic. Of course, PDF can be distributed anywhere, but it would be nice to have a nice art style collectible just to show that you have it. And then also making a retail version for those looking to get into the IP. So consider that as a possibility. And then also potentially make available within comic stores or other retailers. So of course, all of it's going to be digital. I'm sure that everybody will have access to it as a PDF, and then maybe possibly an NFT as a collectible, and maybe physical afterwards. So Alex Paley also said, still early, but trying to keep everybody involved in what we're doing, since all of it is trying to add proper building of the universe. So FYI, this is not distracting from game development whatsoever, but this is something a game needs, because without lore and world building, it is just a bunch of random mechanics, in a game. So I'm pretty excited. This seems really D&D-esque, especially when I took a brief skim. I couldn't help myself, guys. It's a ginormous paper. It's like 10 pages. It's like 10 pages. I'm going to try to break it down as TLDR and quick as I can, and just give you guys a high level. But let's just jump the fuck in. So this book will introduce the universe, its characters, creatures, and game rules to play inside the universe using the 5E RPG element and base rules. So we have a couple of chapters. We have the introduction, of course, which is going to introduce with splash art. It's going to show us how to use this book, how to play adventures, etc., etc. But we have the meat of the book outlined here. So this will essentially go over the lore in chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, up until like whatever chapter, how the universe formed and the things inside of it. And again, I am going to zoom out and preface and just say, yes, we will literally be going through the themes inside of this paper in this video, such as the themes, the origin, the Mara and Kodamara, the return to paradise and hunt for remembrance, as well as catalysts and lineages, and all the classes that are going to be outlined here. That's very exciting to see, in my opinion. There's also biomes, minions, factions. There are 3 factions: Dunamaras, the evil Kodamaras, the exotics, biomons, etc., etc. So let's start from the very beginning. So this is going to explore how the universe formed and the things inside of it. There's also going to be lore of where the creatures are, what they do, and how their society works, as well as a hierarchy of like minions, Maras, Kodamaras, and kings. And then there's also returning to paradise, which is lore on the origin and the quest to find it, of which all Mara and Kodamara are looking to do and quest for. The ways they are trying to get closer to it by defeating the Titans, growing their villages and settlements by finding and hatching more vessels, building ships to travel in new planets and biomes, and finding sediment and catalysts to have more powerful Kodamara that can accomplish greater quests. And additionally, they kind of go over catalysts and sediments too, a necessary part of each Mara's journey to become a Kodamara, etc. And factions. So this is a little bit of something new. This explains the different factions that have formed, sometimes groups made up of Mara and Kodamara, of different factions join to adventure together and achieve greater goals. And there's also things like aspects of the universe which are important. The Dunamara, that's also a little bit new. We'll break that down. Relics, battle flowers, and titans. And then in part 2, making a character, which is also going to be very interesting. So it kind of goes with a quick start, how to go through the steps you will need to complete to make a playable character, especially if you want to play with your friends, since this is a tabletop game. This is going to show the lore and the framework to do that. And there's also choosing a faction. You want to choose the tribe that your Mara comes from. This defines the traits you wish your Mara to have. So this is who you are. A combination of stats and passive traits along with some uniqueness to make even some of the Mara feel unique. So it kind of goes over that. And there's also chapter 3. So this is very interesting. This has roles such as classes and subclasses. So you can choose which role your Mara will fulfill. And each of the roles we'll get to choose, you will find through adventure one of the 6 catalysts that will become, that will determine what Kodamara they will become. And this kind of goes over enchanters, farmers, and hunters, the three different types of Mara, and there's 6 types of classes based off of the catalyst that it ingests. This kind of goes over clerics, druids, sorcerers, evokers, warlords, wizards, monks, rangers, spies, assassins, bards, scholars, paladins, barbarians, champions, berserkers, cavaliers, and battle masters. So there's gonna be something for everybody. That was a mouthful. So there's also backgrounds too. So very much like D&D, you can create a background for yourself. You can have skill proficiencies and any other things like that. And there's also equipments and magic items and sediments. Damn, there's a lot of stuff inside of here. And then part 3, where it's broken down to using ability scores, adventuring, combat, and there's also spellcasting. But basically, yeah, there's a lot of stuff inside. I don't really want to explain all of D&D, but if you guys are familiar with that, this is gonna make a lot of sense and be very familiar, right? Ability scores and modifiers, how to use your abilities, such as advantages, disadvantages, proficiency bonuses, ability checks, saving throws. Kind of goes over things like how to adventure and play the game, such as time, movement, environments, social interactions, and resting. And this section explains combat using theater of mind and a grid for combat. And then part 4 is spellcasting. I promise we're getting to the evil titans and Dunamaras soon, but basically it kind of goes over spellcasting and spells, as well as all of those things too in part 4. And these all are they all have a lot of page number. They have a lot of pages. This seems very comprehensive, guys. So okay, we're getting to the fun part 2. Bestiary. So this will cover creatures, all the creatures that inhabit the world, and many that you can include in adventures, such as 40 creatures with stat blocks, including alternatives for similar creatures, as well as titans. So the elder evils that hold the keys to great power and secrets of the universe. The section explores their profiles and gives the rules needed to run them and place them into your adventure. So there are 4 titans. So it's gonna be, again, this is a big fucking big freaking there's 192 pages with an index and a character sheet that's scannable that you can create your Kodamara/Mara character. Okay, that was just page 3 out of 10. Now we're gonna go over the themes and the origin of the universe in the Legends of the Mara. And it's gonna be pretty comprehensive, guys. I don't know how long this is gonna be, but if you like this type of stuff, feel free to read on. So this kind of goes over themes and references present inside of the Legends of the Mara tabletop game, and may also bleed into the other games and interoperability, but we'll just have to read it to be sure. So, biological mysticism, starfaring, exploration and settlement, curiosity and wonder, evolution and experimentation, and then changing conflict. So it kind of goes over, the connection that the Mars have with the universe, as well as their, interconnected nature between biological adaptation and technology. And then also kind of goes over how they are explorers with the ability to build starships and travel and settle new biomes. Also, how there are star childs, and that relates to the origin, of which we will just read in a second, where they basically go explore and build shit. And then even the Dunamara experience the world. I think the Dunamaras are the evil Kodamaras. They experience the world of megalomania and cruelty. Of a powerful and willful child, one with godlike power. This evil faction seems very interesting. Interesting. So again, evolution and experimentation. So, the buildings and settlements, connections with biomes, minions and biomons are expansion of this evolution, so the formation of factions and new ideas. They kind of go and talk about change and conflict, But let's just get over to the origin. Where does it all begin? Okay. Yeah, let's read it. So once all universes were one star, soul, and one stone, divine and alive in perfect unity. The divine source, the prime. At the beginning of time, something changed. The prime became many. What began as a tiny reaction rapidly catalyzed into a cosmic explosion that created many universes. And yet the divine spark remained. Shards of the prime survived. Seeds of divinity scattered across the stars. The vessels, and shielded by them, the Mara. So again, that kind of relates back to the Mara being the star child of the prime. So let's talk about what the Mara and Kodamaras are. What the F is a Kodamara? We're actually getting an answer for the Kodamara collection. Very interesting. The Mara are beings of pure potential, a spark of the prime with innate understanding of the underlying laws of the universe. And they are children of the prime. Like children, they can adapt and connect to their environment and adapt quickly to any biome, right? And this kind of relates back to integrating catalysts and where they evolve into Kodamaras. So they basically have an innate wanderlust to learn about everything around them and uncover the greatest mystery and secret about themselves and where they came from. And basically, the Mara have begun an exodus, a quest to return to the remains of the reactive core of the Prime's explosion and basically go back to the Prime itself. So let's talk about the return to paradise and the hunt for remembrance. So the Paradise universe was once the home of the near mythical Prime Mara. And this was a lost Mara civilization of unfathomable power and knowledge. This gives me Atlantis vibes. So many have faith that the biomes of paradise have formed some of the largest fragments of the Prime's explosion. In the quest to regain the secrets of their origin, they become to settle and explore the endless biomes of paradise. And scattered across the biomes are remnants of the Prime Mara, which is the ancient civilization. I guess things like exotics, catalysts, shattered biomons. They're all forgotten memories that push the Mara closer to unveiling the mysteries of the Prime. And yet, the closer they get, their innate potential also grows. So again, this allows you to discover things like exotics, which allow you to build more, which allows for more advanced ships to explore the universe. And settling new biomes may trigger hidden magics. A fight with Shattered could yield unknown resources, or symbiotic parasites could awaken new possibilities within an ambitious Kodamara. So there's a lot of similar elements. Does that pertain to gameplay? Is a good question. We'll see. So, and they also talk about Catalyst 2 and how Catalysts essentially carry the same divine spark as the Mara, only adapted to the changes of their own universe. So again, they influence the biology and basically evolve your Mara into Kodamaras, and they kind of break it down into Vivek, being purpose, Anthony's correspondent with life, Leo and glory, Chomp and might, Jules prestige, and Hybar with knowledge. And very interestingly, they have Kodamara lineages, which basically correlates to archetypal fantasy classes / subclasses, which may change later. But it helps give us a good guideline for both the RPG adaptation and giving some personality to the lines themselves. And it's basically right here. So feel free to pause and take a screenshot, or just go to the link. I'll link it so then you can take a look at this. I'll link to the Discord. But basically, I'll break it down. So we have hunters, farmers, and enchanters. And then we also have their correspondent position relative to the the catalyst that you evolve into a Kodamara. So a hunter, Vivek, would be called Visca, and it would be a paladin. But let's say you had an Anthony and a farmer, it would be a ranger, or a Tanza? I don't know how to say it. And then we also have, if you had like a Jules with an enchanter, you could see it would be called Jewel Moon. It would be a Lorelock. But basically, that's very interesting because it gives some character, options for us to kind of choose how to make our identities. So we have paladins, barbarians, champions, berserkers, cavaliers, battle masters, monks, rangers, spies, assassins, bards. I think I already said this, so I'll let you guys just read it. But I'll keep moving on. There are also dynamic ranks such as kings, princes, dukes, barons, and knights. And then we also have biomes. And again, we do have to remember, we have to delineate between other deeds being under Yuga and, just Legends of the Mara being under Faraway. So we have some similarities. We have Garden, Terran, Aquan, which kind of goes over aquatics, and then we also have Minerals, which kind of goes over gems, Ethereal, Caustic, Sporal, and just basically how the biomes will function within the context of the game. And then we also have Minions. So maybe they should have a different name, but something related to the biomes they dwell on, but still cute. Mibians. So most Mara. So basically, I would definitely recommend to go give your feedback in the Discord. We need it. So most Mara form a symbiotic connection to the biome they live in, and this connection expands to the sentient inhabitants of each biome who greatly benefit from the Mara's gifts. So again, it kind of goes over, what minions are for. They kind of work under the Mara, and they're basically shaped by the remnants of the Primara settlement within their worlds. So again, minions grow their civilization together with the Mara and the Kodamara. There's also factions. So outside of having, different classes and subclasses, they can go join a faction. And usually there are basically most Mara settlements or Kodamara's explorers choose to belong to a faction. They are led by a group of King Kodamaras who share similar values. So this is the value set of, what you identify with. So although some Kodamaras gravitate more towards a specific faction, such as Chomp Kodamaras usually preferring the tribe, not all Kodamara of that type do. There are Chomp on both the Conclave and the Union. So belonging to a faction comes with benefits and responsibilities, and some Kodamaras might forego factions completely in exchange for freedom. Right, so we can kind of see the breakdown here, and I'll talk about the characteristics of each. But basically, the Union is formed between Vivek and Leo, and the Union seeks to unite Paradise and the different Mara settlements. They're natural leaders, they like progress, and see technology as a means, not an end. So they aim to build a unified civilization as a bastion against the Dunamara, which are the antagonistic force, and then a better chance to fulfill their quest. So martially, they're very powerful, so that's interesting. Many of its members are charismatic, heroic, and can be overzealous in their aims, so it seems very interesting. There's also the tribe, which is a little bit different. It constitutes of Anthony and Chomp Kodamaras. So they seek harmony within the biomes and are more primal and attuned with nature. They value innate power and are wary of technology. So the tribe is attuned with those who are strong and understanding, who value life above all else, and they seek to understand each biome and build in harmony with its inhabitants. And they're more fragmented than the other factions, and they like it that way. And then the third faction is the Conclave, which is represented by Jules and Hybar, and they are focused on research and perfecting themselves, and they consider themselves the smartest, and they might well be. They're highly individualistic, cunning, and philosophical, enjoying experimentation, and tend to have more cunning than other factions. So they're masterful with technology and seek perfection, and just have a hard time agreeing with what perfection means. So basically, you can kind of feel what each faction kind of characteristically will be like, and you can kind of join the one that you most identify with, right? So that's pretty interesting. Why don't we take a look at the antagonistic faction called the Dunamaras? So although there are technically Kodamaras, the Dunamara have evolved from the Dunami catalyst, the catalyst of power. And they gave them enormous capacity for action, and they developed faster than most Mara. And they're the first Kodamaras to reach Paradise. And they appropriated much of the Primara technologies for themselves, yet their ever-growing, increasing power drew them into conflict and war between them and the rest of the Kodamara. So, great Dunamara warlords rose and battled for power across the biomes, and Paradise still bears the scars of that conflict, right? One of the Dunamara warlords triumphed against the rest of the Dunamaras, Dunas. Dunas. He still rules the Dunamara with cunning, ruthlessness, and unfathomable action. So basically, the Dunamara are all about power for its own sake and basically power, right? They, like the Kodamara, they seek to uncover the mysteries of the Prime, but they don't seek to understand themselves, and they want to remake Paradise in their own image. So they're not symbiotic like the Mara. They focus on terraforming the biomes to their own liking and exploiting the resources and tyrannizing native minions. Wow. Okay. So The arrival of new Kodamaras to the biomes of paradise offers an alternative to the minions and threatens the godlike power of the Dunamaras. Most Dunamara kill Kodamara on sight. What am I reading? Okay. Wow, damn. That jeez. Okay. Yet the subtler and more ruthless might seek to manipulate them. All Kodamara factions are united to fight against Dunamara. Wow. Okay. Damn, I'm curious to see what the Dunamara look like. Are they... Whew. Okay. Again, let's talk about exotics. So, there are ancient exotics of the Primora, lost items from the past. So, some are forgotten knowledge. Some might be powerful weapons. But the most sought after can help build the most advanced ships. And then additionally, we have biomons, the biomes of paradise. Kodamara discovered the power of biomons. So they basically ingest dangerous substances, and Kodamaras can process them internally and eventually excrete seeds. What? The seeds, properly tended to, can birth powerful organic constructs called biomons. Biomons serve as companions and pets to Kodamara. The Kodamara nurture and feed the biomons, building a strong personal link with them. And they basically form the military backbone of the settlements, and second only to Kodamaras themselves. This is a very interesting mental picture process, to be honest. But I guess they're just gonna... Okay. Let's move on. And talk about the Shattered, too. So, what are the Shattered? The big Titan bosses that we're fighting. They're essentially catalysts that were eventually corrupted by the Dunamaras' thirst for power. So there were experimentations of Dunamaras, which yielded massive and powerful creatures, but these soon grew out of control. So only the most powerful of the Dunamara could wield their power in war. Damn! Okay, this really does remind me of, like, Atlantis. The battle for supremacy between the Dunamara scattered around the biomes where they bred, evolved, and grew stronger. So they're basically like dangerous walking weapons. That's pretty wild. So the Shattered are the most dangerous enemies to the Mara. Holy crap. So they can ravage entire Kodamara armies and destroy their settlements. And they exist in disharmony with the biomes, threatening all life around them. So hunting Shattered helps biomes, but also yields powerful rewards to the Kodamara that defeats them. Damn, okay. And at the very end, we have a couple of mystery questions that we will have to mull over, ponder. Who were the Primara? Did they learn the secrets of the Prime? And what happened to them? So, yeah. And then there's also what remains of the Prime. What can the Mara learn from the divine origin? And then, and the very last two questions are, what does the Dunamis catalyst? Why does the Dunamis catalyst exist? How can the Dunamara be defeated? And again, that's going to be fleshed out here in this lore book. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot. Ah, man, I hope there's a lot of art in here, man. Oh, there's going to be so many pages. Oh, there's 192 pages inside of here. But that's basically my breakdown of every single part and lore piece inside of the book proposal here. So, again, I really hope we do see this come into fruition. Again, I'm really juicing for the lore behind the universe, as well as getting a framework for us to play a role-playing game within the context of using our Kodamara house. So that's going to be pretty cool. Again, we're waiting for the booklet. Again, we are just going to take a look and just kind of see everything with the feedback that we get here in the Legends of the Mara Discord channel. Again, I will link the Faraway Discord in the link in the description so you can go find that information. But again, let me know what you guys think. I feel like every Saturday, once every Saturday, we get like a supreme Discord bomb dropped on us, and that will be what we were thinking about for the next couple weeks. So anyways, you guys know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button. I know this was a longer video, but I wanted to go over the entirety of this lore concept PDF and kind of get your guys' thoughts, as well as convey as much information as I can in the shortest amount of time here possible. So anyways, I'll see you guys. All the links in the description. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.